In a powerful and urgent address, President Russell M. Nelson delivered a remarkable message that has left the faithful inspired and reflective. With his trademark clarity and conviction, he reminded us of the impending reality of Jesus Christ's second coming, urging believers to be ready. In a world often distracted by the noise of daily life, his words serve as a powerful call to action, reminding us of the importance of spiritual preparation. President Nelson emphasized that we do not have to wait for the event itself to begin our preparation. The time is now. His message struck a chord, urging all of us to turn to Christ and live in a way that welcomes his return. Honoring President Nelson's contributions. Before diving into the profound impact of President Nelson's message, it's important to take a moment to pay tribute to his extraordinary life and contributions. Born on September 9, 1924, in Salt Lake City, Utah, Russell Marion Nelson grew up in a loving and supportive family environment. His parents instilled in him the values of hard work, faith, and service, shaping him into the man he would later become. From a young age, President Nelson showed a deep love for learning and a particular passion for science, which eventually led him to a distinguished career in medicine. As a young man, Nelson attended the University of Utah, where he pursued a degree in medical sciences. His academic brilliance earned him a place at the University of Minnesota, where he earned his doctorate in medicine. Specializing in surgery, Dr. Nelson became renowned for his expertise in heart surgery. He contributed to pioneering advancements in medical technology, such as the development of the heart-lung machine, and gained international recognition for his innovative work in heart valve repair and open heart surgeries. Despite his success in the medical field, President Nelson felt a calling that extended beyond the operating room. In 1984, at the age of 59, he was called to serve as an apostle in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, marking the beginning of his dedicated service in the church. Over the years, President Nelson became known for his humility, compassion, and steadfast devotion to helping others, both spiritually and practically. He balanced his professional life as a renowned heart surgeon with his role as a spiritual leader, impacting millions of lives across the world. In January 2018, at the age of 93, President Nelson was called to serve as the 17th president of the LDS Church, a pivotal moment in the history of the church. His leadership, characterized by vision, humility, and an unwavering commitment to the teachings of Jesus Christ, has inspired millions and continues to shape the direction of the church today. The importance of building our lives on Jesus Christ. In a world that often feels chaotic and overwhelming, President Nelson has called upon members of the LDS Church to refocus their attention on what truly matters: Jesus Christ. At the heart of his teachings lies the message that building our lives on Jesus Christ is essential for finding lasting peace, purpose, and hope in a troubled world. But what does it mean to build a life on Jesus Christ, and why is it so important? To build our lives on Jesus Christ means making Him the foundation upon which everything else in our lives rests. It is not enough to merely profess belief in Him or attend church occasionally. True discipleship involves incorporating His teachings and His example into every aspect of our lives. Our thoughts, our words, our actions, and our relationships with others. This means living according to the principles He taught: love, compassion, kindness, forgiveness, humility, and service. When we make Jesus Christ the foundation of our lives, we are choosing to align ourselves with His will and to seek His guidance in all that we do. We are choosing to live according to His example and to trust in His promises. In doing so, we invite His peace into our hearts, a peace that transcends the challenges and trials of life. As President Nelson often teaches, this peace comes from knowing that No matter what we face, Jesus Christ is with us, providing strength and comfort when we need it most. Moreover, making Jesus Christ the foundation of our lives also means preparing ourselves for His second coming. In his messages, President Nelson has emphasized the urgency of this preparation. The second coming of Jesus Christ is not something that we can afford to put off for the future. It is something that we need to start preparing for today. Building our lives on Christ and preparing for His return requires us to live in a way that reflects our love for Him and our commitment to His teachings. It is not enough to simply wait for His return. We must actively prepare ourselves through prayer, scripture study, service, and faith. The urgency of acting. Now. Why is President Nelson urging us to act now? And why is this message so important at this moment in history? One of the key reasons for this urgency is the rapidly changing world in which we live. In today's society, there is a constant barrage of distractions, fears, and uncertainties. People are facing a wide range of challenges, from personal struggles to global crises, and many feel overwhelmed by the complexities of modern life. In such an environment, it can be easy to lose sight of what truly matters. President Nelson teaches that, now more than ever, it is essential to build our lives on Jesus Christ, because He is the unshakable foundation that will help us weather the storms of life. Another reason for the urgency of President Nelson's message is the unpredictability of Christ's second coming. While we do not know the exact time or manner in which Jesus Christ will return, President Nelson reminds us that every day brings us one step closer to His return. Because we do not know when that day will come, it is essential to be prepared at all times. This preparation involves living our lives in a way that demonstrates our commitment to Jesus Christ and His teachings. It is not enough to wait until we feel ready or until we face some sort of crisis. President Nelson invites us to take action now, making Jesus Christ the center of our lives today, not tomorrow. Living the teachings of Jesus Christ. To make Jesus Christ the foundation of our lives, we must not only believe in Him, but also actively live according to His teachings. President Nelson emphasizes that it is not enough to simply profess faith. We must act on that faith. This means following Jesus Christ's example in our daily lives, striving to be more loving, compassionate, and kind. It also means seeking personal revelation and guidance from God through prayer and scripture study. For older individuals, those returning to the faith, or those who are just beginning to explore their beliefs, President Nelson's message is particularly meaningful. No matter where we are in our spiritual journey, it is never too late to start building our lives on Jesus Christ. Whether we have followed Him for years or are just beginning to understand His teachings, we can always take steps to draw closer to Him. President Nelson encourages us to take small actions each day that will help us build our relationship with Jesus Christ. This could include things like praying more frequently, studying the scriptures, serving others, and attending church regularly. These seemingly small actions can have a profound impact on our lives, helping us feel closer to Christ and more in tune with His will. As we take these steps, we can be confident that God will help us along the way, providing the strength and guidance we need to grow in faith and love. The power of family and faith. One of the most important aspects of building our lives on Jesus Christ is the role of family. President Nelson has often spoken about the importance of family, and he teaches that when we make Jesus Christ the foundation of our lives, we also strengthen our relationships with those we love. In his teachings, he emphasizes the power of family prayer, scripture study, and service as ways to draw closer to Christ and to one another. The family is the central unit of God's plan, and by making Christ the center of our family life, we can find greater peace, unity, and love. For those who may be struggling in their families or facing difficult challenges, President Nelson offers a message of hope. He teaches that as we make Jesus Christ the foundation of our homes, we invite His love and peace into our lives, helping us to navigate the difficulties that arise. This does not mean that life will be free from challenges, but it does mean that we do not have to face them alone. Facing trials with courage. Challenges, no matter how daunting, never disappear entirely, but with Jesus as our foundation, we develop a new ability to handle them. Trials become stepping stones to spiritual growth rather than stumbling blocks. In every hardship, we can find purpose, and we learn how to overcome obstacles with grace. Knowing that Jesus walks alongside us, we can press forward with the confidence that we are not alone in our struggles. It is in those moments of trial that our faith is deepened, and we gain strength to face future challenges. Jesus Himself endured immense suffering during His time on earth, yet He was able to overcome it because of His unwavering faith and trust in God's will. In the same way, we too can find strength in Jesus' example. The trials of life, rather than breaking us, have the potential to refine us and help us grow in ways we never imagined. Living in a way that reflects Jesus' teachings. When we make Jesus the foundation of our lives, our perspective on the world around us begins to shift. The way we interact with others, the choices we make, and the way we treat people are all influenced by His teachings. This shift is not a mere intellectual decision, but a transformational process that redefines our priorities and actions. Jesus taught us to love unconditionally, forgive generously, and serve humbly. These teachings are more than principles. They are a guide to living a life filled with purpose and meaning. Jesus' life was the ultimate model of compassion, integrity, and service. By following His example, we learn to be more patient, understanding, and selfless. Our decisions, whether big or small, begin to align more closely with the values that He espoused. For instance, we may find ourselves being kinder to others, choosing honesty even when it is difficult, or offering help to someone in need, even when it requires personal sacrifice. These actions bring not only joy and peace into our own hearts, but also reflect the light of Christ to those around us, making the world a little bit better, one small act at a time. The illusion of happiness in the world. In today's society, many things claim to offer happiness: money, success, popularity, and material possessions. These are often seen as markers of a successful and fulfilled life. However, these things, no matter how desirable, are fleeting. They are temporary and cannot provide lasting fulfillment. We might experience moments of joy from worldly achievements, but they are often short-lived and ultimately unsatisfying. The joy they offer is surface level and does not fill the deeper longing that resides within our hearts. True happiness, on the other hand, comes from knowing Jesus and following His path. When we make Him the center of our lives, we find that our hearts are filled with peace that the world cannot give. This peace is not dependent on our circumstances or external factors, but is rooted in our relationship with Jesus Christ. It is a joy that transcends the trials of life and provides us with the strength to keep moving forward. Living with purpose and finding true joy. When we choose to live according to Jesus' teachings, we begin to understand that true fulfillment is not found in the pursuit of wealth or status, but in a life devoted to love, service, and kindness. Jesus offers a life of greater purpose, one that transcends the temporary pleasures of the world. This deeper joy, the joy of knowing Jesus and living as He taught, is the kind of happiness that endures. It is a happiness that remains even when things are difficult, because it is rooted in something much greater than ourselves. In the Gospel of John, Jesus says, "I am the way, the truth, and the life. These words point to the fact that Jesus is the only true source of lasting peace and fulfillment. When we follow him and live according to his teachings, we discover that life takes on a new meaning, and we find a deeper sense of purpose and joy. Sharing Jesus' love with others. One of the most important aspects of our spiritual journey is not just making Jesus the foundation of our own lives, but also helping others come to know him. The love, peace, and joy that we experience through our relationship with Jesus are meant to be shared with the world. The best way to help others find this same peace is to live in a way that reflects his love and light. There are many ways we can share our faith: by being kind to others, showing love and compassion, sharing our testimony, and inviting people to learn about Jesus. We don't always have to use words to share the gospel. Our actions often speak louder. When people see how we handle life's challenges with grace, how we forgive those who wrong us, or how we serve those in need, they may be drawn to the same peace and joy that we have found in Jesus. We can also directly invite others to learn more about Jesus through conversations, church activities, or by simply showing them the way we live. The way we live can be a powerful testimony to others of the love and hope that Jesus offers. By sharing the gospel, we help others lay a strong foundation for their own lives, just as we have done. Preparing for the second coming of Jesus Christ. The second coming of Jesus Christ is one of the most anticipated events for believers. It is a moment when everything will be made right, and all of humanity will experience peace, healing, and joy. However, preparing for his return is not just about waiting for a future event. It is about how we live our lives today. President Russell M. Nelson teaches that we do not have to wait for Christ's return to begin preparing. We can start today by making Jesus Christ the center of our lives and living in a way that would welcome him. It is not about achieving perfection, but about striving every day to follow his example and live in a way that reflects his teachings. Action, but about striving every day to follow his example and live in a way that reflects his teachings. Spiritual preparation. Building a strong relationship with Christ. One of the key ways we prepare for Jesus' return is by staying spiritually strong. This means cultivating a close relationship with him through prayer, scripture study, and attending church. These spiritual practices help us draw nearer to Christ and deepen our understanding of his will for us. The more we engage with these practices, the more attuned we become to his guidance in our lives. In a busy world full of distractions, it can be challenging to prioritize spiritual practices. However, making time for Jesus in our daily lives is essential to building the strength we need to face life's challenges and be ready for his return. Even in the midst of life's busyness, we can find moments to pray, to read the scriptures, and to connect with Jesus. By doing so, we are preparing ourselves for the day when he will come again. Helping others prepare for the second coming. As we prepare for the second coming of Jesus Christ, it is also important to help others prepare. Sharing the gospel with those around us is one of the most loving things we can do. When we share our faith, we invite others to make Jesus the foundation of their lives as well. This is an important part of our mission as Christians. We can share the gospel in many ways, whether through conversations, invitations to church, or simply by living a life that reflects Jesus' love. By doing so, we not only help others prepare for his return, but also strengthen our own faith and commitment to him. As more people come to know and follow Jesus, the world becomes a better place, filled with love, peace, and hope. The ultimate hope, the return of Jesus Christ. The second coming of Jesus Christ is the ultimate hope for all who believe in him. It is the moment when all things will be made right, when peace will reign, and when all sorrow and pain will be replaced with joy and comfort. Jesus has promised that He will return, and that promise gives us hope, especially in times of difficulty. When Jesus returns, He will bring healing, peace, and eternal joy to all who have followed Him. He will wipe away every tear, and we will be in His loving presence forever. This is the hope that sustains us through life's trials, reminding us that no matter how hard things get, there is always something beautiful to look forward to. Living with hope and expectation. Knowing that Jesus will return changes how we live today. It fills us with hope and helps us endure the challenges we face. As we prepare for His return, we live with the expectation of His coming, knowing that it will be the happiest day of our lives. We look forward to the day when we will see Him face to face and experience the fullness of His love. Until that day comes, we continue to build our lives on Jesus Christ, follow His teachings, and share His love with others. As we do, we are preparing not only for His return, but for a life of eternal joy and peace with Him.